person to tell us about this. Now, one thing that people might not know who are listening is that you've recently won an award that's been recognized nationally and brings Hawaii to the stage. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that award?
Yeah, so the award that our organization won, it's called the Telly Awards.
Telly.
And so what it does is it actually takes video shorts. So what we did was our organization created 5-minute shows on technology, and then we broadcast it originally on YouTube. And then as we were creating it, it became like a 30-minute show that we actually broadcast on cable television now. So.
Wow, and these are shows that people can watch today?
Yeah, they can watch it today anytime. They can watch previous episodes. We're still running the episodes currently. And then, so what we did was we actually took our best episodes. It featured Guy Hoggy. So he kind of took a tour around the news station, kind of showed the different technologies, and then from that they had selected our episode and that show as an award.
Now what are in these episodes? What are you showing?
So we actually it's called Bytes TV. So we actually just take little snippets of technology. We show it like whether it's a news station or kind of showcasing behind the scenes on what encompasses technology. We went to Queens Medical Center to kind of show how a robot was able to do surgery with the surgeon.
Wow, really?
Yeah, the surgeon just kind of overseeing the robotic arm, kind of.
It's kind of like programmed, right?
Yeah. So what it does is it kind of uses physics and a little of geometry. It kind of measures how far the different arteries, and it's so precise that. When a surgeon actually does surgery, there's cause for human error. But when it comes to technology, of course, it's calculated. So it just uses kind of the area and then gauges all the vessels, all the heart, everything. So
it's kind of like a DVR for surgery. I mean, the DVR is always going to catch that show a little bit better than you will.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you can pinpoint those commercials spot on.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
And so these little snippets. Now, tell me how. What was the process of winning this award, and which of these small snippets actually won it?
Right. So it was a long, drawn, extensive process. What we had to do is we had to go through a certain series. We won the category in news section, so technology news, and so we submitted the video. It went through 2 rounds of judging, and then once the judges went through it, they chose us to be the winner of the award. They do everything primarily online, so your video is seen online, judged by everyone in the nation, and then they announce the winner after they do the judging.
So everyone across the country was able to see your video. And what's the winning video? Tell me what it is.
Yeah, so the winning video was the, we had Guy Hoggy. It was National Weatherman Day. And we followed him around the whole studio, kind of see what it would be like day in the life in a weatherman. And we followed him along, saw the technologies, how they utilize the green screen, and when the partly cloudy sections, you see the partly cloudy, and like they have a green screen behind them, and they tell you the weather.
Okay, yeah, I remember that. I actually used to have a spot on the morning show, and it was kind of one of those. It's a learned trait, definitely, standing in front of a green screen and be able to say, and then the clouds move. You just blow a little bit.
Yeah.
And so, how does that relate to new media? So, some people who are listening, I bet, are interested in creating small, short type of videos. How would they be able to learn from what you've done about how to get into this industry?
Well, it's interesting in this day and age. Technology is a lot more powerful than it was many years ago. You see a lot of emerging new companies creating their own short videos. Like on YouTube, people are becoming famous, like YouTube celebrities like Ryan Higa, who's over in Hilo, making six figures, kind of just doing the YouTube gig. And because of technology and its advancements, we're able to kind of capture high quality video. We're able to utilize our home PCs or even our laptops to edit and manipulate the videos as well. So you kind of see a lot of those things kind of emerging. What I recommend is, start off with a great idea. Storyboard it out, write down all of your ideas, and then when you come up with that great idea, kind of see how it translates to film. And then from there, kind of just see what your audience thinks.
And to record these things, so you recommend just starting off with something simple.
Yeah.
Even like your iPhone, you can do
Correct.
it there. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you can edit it all together. And then, you know, one of the things I'm definitely going to want to do, I'm going to put this on my list, is after our show, I'm going to post on our ThinkTechHawaii.com website that winning video. I definitely want that winning. And Guy Hagi, maybe that made him even more popular.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Winning the award and, you know, having Guy Hagi as kind of the tour guide for the whole video, I'm sure his personality kind of shines throughout, you know, even across the nation.
Oh, really? Yeah. Okay. So he's the famous Hawaii news guy who won the Telly Awards. So did you win any money, or is it just recognition?
Yeah. You know what's so interesting is that just 2 weeks ago, we got our statue, and I wish I could show it to you right now. The statue is well over about 15 pounds. Well, maybe I'm exaggerating a little bit, but it's heavy. Like,
so it's about $300 to ship to Hawaii.
Yes, of course, yeah. I feel like that's how much it would have cost if we had to pay for it. The actual producers of the award, they use the same manufacturers as the people who produce the Oscars.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So it's that kind of quality.
It is that kind of quality. So it's just, you know, that sculpted statue, a nice bright color, and it kind of stands out. Well, you have my interest in seeing it, so I guess you're going to have to send me a picture. Definitely. And on the air, I'm going to hold you to it. Yeah. And then we'll put it on our ThinkTechHawaii.com website. And by the way, if any of you are want to join the conversation, just give us a call. 296-5467. 296-5467 is the number. And, of course, if you miss any part of the show, you can visit ThinkTechHawaii.com, download a podcast. You can check us out on Ustream or on Spreaker.com, and you're going to have some more reminders of that throughout the show. But and now, speaking of, ThinkTech is actually pretty progressive in terms of how we're trying to get, our mission out. You know, we are trying to raise public awareness about technology and energy and globalism, all these fun things. So we're using all these new media, and today's topic, of course, is talking about how this new media is helping small businesses. What kind of new media are small businesses using, and do you have some stats to back it up? Yeah, definitely. And thank you for putting me on the spot. I appreciate that.
Of course. That's what I'm here for.
Yeah, well, currently right now, Facebook is at 700 million users.
Okay.
And right now, it's actually so large that it almost, if Facebook was a country right now, it would probably be the 4th largest country in the world.
Wow.
Yeah, and there's so many users, and the great thing about the users is that on average, all of these active users use Facebook about 2 hours a day.
2 hours a day. And that's because we have these mobile phones now.
Exactly.
That they can use them.
So convenient. Facebook found a great way of connecting you with your friends and family, so much so that, it almost replaced kind of our day-to-day social lives. It's like, you wouldn't have to go out of your way now to kind of see an old high school acquaintance. You can kind of catch up and keep a pulse on their lives just through social media, through Facebook. And I can see why a lot of businesses are kind of utilizing things like Facebook, Twitter, social media to kind of get their message out. It's cost-effective.
Yeah, but I've heard this for years. I've heard, oh, you got to get your business on Facebook, and I've seen the ads in the paper for come to our social media summit. We'll double your business right away. But who's really using social media, and who's really winning?
Well, I know that a lot of companies right now, what they're using.
Which one?
So what we actually work very closely with a company, Pepsi Hawaii.
Okay.
And for their social media campaign, they kind of saw the brand awareness in the sense that what they have on their social media is that they have their sampling locations. And so they list all of their sampling locations and then reach out to their specific demographic between 25 to 30. What they do is they show where they're going to be sampling their drinks at. And they associate it with the University of Hawaii. So it's really great when you're there. You can kind of catch all of the drinks specials and samples, kind of try it out. And it kind of helped Pepsi kind of offline and online to kind of help toward conversion, and sampling it out.
Well, but that's Pepsi, and Pepsi has lots of money. They have lots of resources, lots of money. I think, a fairly good-sized business here in Hawaii is 25 to 50 employees, not 50,000. So
that's true.
So who locally is? I think I've seen Zippy's. Zippy's has done pretty well. I know Big City Diner. They have their Twitter Tuesdays.
Yeah,
that's pretty popular. And so maybe as a retailer, you can leverage social media from that aspect.
Yeah, I know a lot of retailers now, you know, different people like Papa John's. Papa John's is kind of starting out. They're utilizing their social media, and they're using it as a means to kind of, because the connection between ordering your pizza is so easy, like it's on your phone already. If you're looking at Instagram or you're looking at Facebook on your phone, it's kind of easier to convert individuals when you're looking at pizza, kind of trigger the hunger, and then people are able to kind of call in.
Oh, so when you're looking at your emails on your phone,
yeah,
you maybe get something that's a Papa John's ad, then you get hungry,
yeah,
you click the ad, and now you're getting a pizza delivered, you know, for a little bit less.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, and they kind of use that incentive. Actually, I know a lot of social media campaigns. What they do is, for smaller businesses, they kind of use the leverage of creativity to kind of, like, if they do a photo contest or they do certain things like that, they're able to kind of leverage the creativity and social media to kind of make their business worthwhile, as opposed to paying an exorbitant amount for like a radio ad or a television ad.
Well, you know, I think the numbers would back you up too, because didn't the advertiser have some trouble recently? Yeah. That's okay. We'll talk about that a little bit more when we get back from the break. This is ThinkTech Friday. I'm your host, Attila Seress, here with Quincy Solano. Stay tuned.
Thanks.
760 KGU.
Part of the Wall Street Business Network.
There's an accident earlier this afternoon on the H1 Everbound at the Wyaba Road overpass, and that really slowed down traffic going west. H1 is stop and go halfway down the airport viaduct. The Warren Lewis stop and go all the way to Middle Street. In town, the water main by McCully Shopping Center has been fixed. The crews are now working to repair the streets. McCully still closed between Kapiolani Boulevard and Lime.
We have some of the people who have been on the show. Sometimes they sponsor some spots.
Oh, nice.
We have, you know, things like Acura Honolulu and Hiko and Pacific Forum. You'll hear it on the podcast.
Okay. How you so ThinkTech Hawaii?
Yeah, okay. ThinkTechHawaii.com. And yeah, seriously, send me the links to the video. Okay.
Yeah.
And, yeah, they'll put it on your homework.
Video, and I'll send you a picture of the.
Yeah.
It's heavy.
I want to see a picture of the award. That'd be great.
Yeah.
And then, I gotta remember to have Jay take a picture of us. Jay, do you want time after the break?
Yes, yes.
Hey, there we are. The camera does add 10 pounds.
ThinkTech Hawaii is a Hawaii nonprofit corporation organized in the year 2000. Its purpose is to raise public awareness about the importance of technology, energy, agriculture, and globalism to the diversification and expansion of our economy. We do this by television shows on community television and on OC16, by newspaper articles, and by our ThinkTech radio series on KGU 760 AM. We also do it by panel programs and events, including our monthly luncheon programs with the Hawaii Venture Capital Association. ThinkTech, working to raise public awareness in Hawaii. Check us out at thinktechhawaii.com. ThinkTech Radio is also brought to you by InmoB. Since its inception in 2007, InmoB has grown to become the world's largest independent mobile advertising network, serving over 100 billion mobile ads to date. It has built its product in parts of the world where the mobile phone is not just a screen, it's the only screen. After launching in the US and Europe in 2010, InmoB has more than doubled its global network, from 7 billion to 60 billion impressions monthly, and has offices on 4 continents, in Bangalore, Johannesburg, and London, in Nairobi, New York, and Paris, in San Francisco, Seoul, Singapore, and Tokyo. InmoB.
We're back, we're live, and you're listening to ThinkTech Friday. I'm your host, Attila Seress, and we're here with Quincy Solano. Now we're talking about a very interesting topic, and it's about how new media and technology is helping small businesses in Hawaii. Now, Quincy, you're the founder, I would say, of Technology NewsBytes. It's a media company, and it's as well as a media company. It's a magazine. It's online. It has a strong online presence. You also do a lot of community outreach type of things. And when we were talking in the first break, we were talking about all kinds of interesting new ways that businesses are able to leverage social media to get some more foot traffic. But you know, there was something you were telling me about a little bit before the show, which sounds really kind of cool. Now, I'm guessing that some of our listeners like playing video games.
Who doesn't?
And well, you know, I think that's true. I think there's a good video game for every type of person. And you found a new way to bring something new to Hawaii that isn't here before. Why don't you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, so Technology NewsBytes, what we did was we kind of branched out of our kind of repertoire a little bit and went into competitive gaming. And
what? Really?
Yeah.
Isn't that totally the opposite direction?
Well, it's still technology. You got some technology, and you know, we also do events at Technology NewsBytes. So we kind of set up like the online competitive gaming as well as offline to kind of, I guess, pit against the best players in Hawaii and see who comes out on top.
So what has been the result? Have you done any events yet?
Well, you know what's so amazing is that we did 2 events just starting in the beginning of this year. So we spun off and created a new division called Esports Hawaii. And then the 2 events that we actually did was one at KawaiiCon. And we actually took over the video game section inside KawaiiCon. We had well over 200 people kind of spectating our competitive game. The game we were playing is League of Legends. It's kind of a RTS, a real-time strategy game, where 2 people are fighting against 2 people. So you can think of it kind of like tennis, you know, going back and forth. And the objective is to kind of capture the person's tower.
It's kind of like paintballs with that.
Kind of, yeah. Actually, yeah. More
without the dirt and the paint. Right?
Yeah, more like you get your digital footprints dirty. But so in just doing that spectator sport at KawaiiCon, we got 200 individuals playing. And then from there, we did our own hosted tournament where we had 20 teams in the state of Hawaii kind of play up against each other, a 5 versus 5 team going head to head.
And this was also playing the League of Legends,
yes,
right?
Correct. Yeah, so we're playing League of Legends. I just actually met with one of the advisors at Punahou, and they're looking to actually create a club revolving around competitive video gaming. And Punahou themselves actually has about 35 teams of 5 that play League of Legends.
So instead of going, you know, doing after-school basketball or after-school football practice, you would get together in a classroom and strategize about how to better play this video game?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, people are like, this is actually one of the leading games in competitive esports in this day and age. It's popular in Korea, North America. It's kind of sweeping the world by storm right now.
And how did you hear about this? Just the word of mouth?
Yeah, interestingly enough, me and a few of my business partners kind of got together, was thinking about a few new projects, and then Riot, the creator of League of Legends, had done their first World Championships, and they had 2 million unique viewers that were watching the stream online.
That sounds like more than maybe you're getting through your Technology NewsBytes.
Oh, well, you know, it's popular right now in Korea, so it's extremely popular in Korea. We kind of saw the opportunity here in the state of Hawaii because nobody right now is kind of unifying the league of sports, I should say esports in Hawaii. So we kind of saw the opportunity, wanted to kind of launch pad it and kind of jump on board.
Now, from a business standpoint, I mean, can a small business leverage video games to help improve their customer experience?
Interestingly enough, the dedicated fan base of video gamers, they are one of the most I guess prevalent people that have disposable income. They're willing to spend money on video games upon video games, buying the products, the drinks. They're avid, dedicated drinkers of energy drinks. Apparel, they love purchasing like random apparel. So you know, the capitalization of opportunity for merchandise actually was one of the business models that Esports Hawaii had proposed as a business model.
And so how about like another small business, so they could could they host these tournaments there, or like maybe an after-school training session or something like that? Or
yeah, well, definitely. I know a lot of retailers. Like, if you have a venue, what we do is we set up 10 computers in that venue. It has to be a relatively sizable venue, and what we do is we kind of host like an open area in that venue. And then we have all the spectators kind of come in, kind of check out what's going on in that area, purchase any of the products if they have products available. Of course, the demographic themselves is very niche, but they are a dedicated audience.
Do you see it going the direction that, say, like the robotics competitions have gone?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I know robotics competitions, everyone right now is kind of supporting it, all the schools. It kind of releases a lot of creativity. With esports, it actually takes team play to the next level. You have to communicate with your team via your headphones. You kind of have to stage exactly where you're going to be, because it's an individual sport, but at the same time, it can be a heavy team sport as well.
And so, you know, would you venture to say that being not physically fit in such an endeavor means that maybe you're a better player versus someone who spends their time exercising?
Well, the great thing about just doing esports this first quarter is that, you know, it doesn't matter if you're big or small. It all depends on a practice. It goes back to self-discipline and practicing. You know, spending hours not at the gym but on the computer.
You know, I'm not sure that's going to fly with some parents.
Well, and what we did is that you know, we spoke to the DOE, and you know, we kind of mentioned to them, it's like, oh, you know, gaming is something that's kind of had a negative connotation to it. What we leveraged and kind of worked a lot with, you know, with the School of Punahou, you know, it's a camaraderie sport. It enhances team play. It, you know, as long as they're within kind of like practicing hours. You know, we set practicing hours for a lot of the students, you know, between maybe, you know, 5 to 7, and then that was all they would do. And then from there, you know, practice and start scrimmaging with other schools as well. And so that's something that Esports Hawaii is kind of looking toward in the future.
Scrimmaging.
Yeah.
Wow, using real sports terms.
We are, you know, and actually, what they're doing in the mainland right now is they're truly legitimizing the sport. They're making all of the teams popular. The people that are pro players right now are getting full salaries. So Riot right now is the top 10 team. Yeah,
so you can make a living.
You can make a living.
Professional video game player.
Yes, absolutely. You can. With a lot of the pro players right now that are on Riot and, you know, going through the circuit right now. It's called LCS. They're actually vying to get you know, full-time salary being a pro gamer.
I bet everyone is vying. I can play video games all day and get paid for it.
That's what they
fantastic.
do. And actually, the company Riot, they're actually doing a very, very awesome job about making these people popular. You can have the dorkiest person on a team, but with the video, the commercials that they have, and the branding and the way they interview these players, they make them look like all-star NBA basketball players. It's amazing.
So from zero to hero. Right?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, or dork to stud on the computer.
And so, which video game is your favorite?
I'm addicted to League of Legends. I can play it till like 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning. The strategy and the way you have to think of things is beyond this world. It helps me to multitask. Another game I like is StarCraft, brought by Blizzard. That's another type of thinking type of game where you have to kind of build your army against one another. Esports is kind of on the rise now, and we kind of see it as being one of our more popular business models.
I wonder, so could you insure like your thumbs the same way that sports people insure their thumbs because they're $20 million thumbs, you know, for the football player?
I haven't heard any stories just yet, but I'm pretty sure that it could get to that point. I always joke around with a lot of people who are, you know, the teams that play in competitive sports that, you know, them playing so often with their thumbs, like, can cause different things in the future. You know, calluses, arthritis in the thumbs, all these different things. But
oh, really? So it's a sports injury?
Yeah, they have sports injuries. So I know that during the competitive season, there's a lot of crippling factors, right? So, you know, anything that happens to your hands or your fingers, even your computer, you know, it makes a big difference on what mouse you use, what keyboard you use. Those can all be contributing factors to the
sports
gameplay.
Equipment.
Exactly.
Is your computer.
Right. Exactly.
And seasons. You mentioned seasons. I had no idea that video games had seasons. It seems like you just turn it on and there it is.
No, they actually have created a legitimate league in which they have seasons. They're on season 3 right now. So Riot for League of Legends is on season 3, and they're right in the middle of their competition, trying to find the best team to go to Worlds in 2013.
And so now, what's happening in Hawaii?
So right now,
Tell me about that. Yeah.
For us at Esports Hawaii, what we're trying to do is we're really trying to find the best in the state. Right now, as it is there's only 2 pro players that actually are making salaries right now in competitive gaming.
So there are people who live here.
Yes, 2 people.
2 people.
Yes.
Out of how many?
On
Oahu?
Yeah, on Oahu. They were actually invited within teams that are in the mainland. So actually they were recruited. So when it comes to the pro teams, they actually go through a recruiting process in which you have to play a particular role and kind of try to beat out the best in everyone who is auditioning for that team.
It's like American Idol.
Exactly. Yeah. So they find the best of the best. They pit them against other people in the nation who are auditioning, and then if you come out on top, then you get to be a pro player and vie for that pro player salary.
Wow. So tryouts. When are tryouts?
Well, we're actually Esports Hawaii is actually doing a spectator tournament over at the 58th State Fair, June 2nd. So we're going to be June 2nd. So everyone who is going to the E.K. Fernandez 58th State Fair, they'll be able to see the 2 teams that won our grand finals back in March. Kind of get to see them go head to head and kind of rematch, because the tournament itself was so close that we were there in overtime. And can you imagine video games there being overtime? So we had 2.
It just seems. I mean, I'm just listening here.
Yeah.
And it just sounds to me like it's something that maybe we're gonna laugh about in 10 years. So can you believe video games used to not be legitimate?
Yeah. I mean, you look at a lot of different sports in the Olympics,
and it goes the same path. That's right.
Exactly.
Well, we're gonna talk a little bit more after the break. Stay tuned. This is ThinkTech Friday. Attila Seress here with Quincy Solano.
760 KGU.
Part of the Wall Street Business Network.
We've had a slew of problems going west this afternoon, and that's why the extra slow traffic. H1 is backed up to the east end of the airport viaduct. The Moana Lua backed up into Kalihi. Give yourself extra time. Also slow through town on the H1 Eva bound. The slowdown starts in Kaimuki. McCully still closed between Kapiolani and Lime, and the right lane of Kapiolani is still closed because of that earlier water main break.
Trust you, Jay.
Okay. Yeah, just turn them on, off and on.
This is it.
I can turn them off and on for you, but
Mic 1.
it's just more work for Mother.
Nah, it's fine. Here we go.
Honey, if we had installed solar water heating last year, we would have saved about $600 on our electric bill.
Wow, that's like 40 pounds of poke.
Or 15 bikinis.
Or 800 pounds of rice.
Or 200 pairs of slippers.
Or 750 malasadas.
Well, that's a lot of malasada.
Solar water is the first step towards big energy savings. With Hawaii Energy's limited time rebate, get solar water heating for about $2,000 and reduce your electric bill up to 40%.
That's a lot of malasada.
Visit hawaiienergy.com/solarwater.
With the Kahiava Wind Farm on Maui and the Kahuku and Kawailoa Wind Farms on Oahu, First Wind is pleased to create clean, local sources of energy powered by Hawaii's trade winds. Understanding our unique environment and host culture, First Wind develops projects that support local communities and provide net benefits to native wildlife, embracing the concept of caring from Mauka to Makai. Ukamakani, may the wind blow towards a sustainable future for Hawaii's people. For more information, visit firstwind.com.
We're back, we're live, and you're listening to ThinkTech Friday. I'm your host, Attila Seress, and we're here with Quincy Solano from Technology NewsBytes, and we're talking about how new media is helping small businesses in Hawaii. And we talked a little bit about social media, and then we kind of got sidetracked and talked a little bit more about video gaming. Yeah. But before we rejoin the conversation, we have a message from our creator, Jay Fidel. Take it away, Jay.
Okay, it's not a message actually, Tella. It's an announcement about a program, because we always like to tell everybody what programs we're doing. We're doing a program on May 23rd, which is Thursday at the Plaza Club. It's called 2013 Update on Housing in Hawaii, Waking Up to the American Dream at a cost we hope we can afford. The moderator is Harry Saunders. He's the president of Castle and Cook Hawaii, a home builder, developer, and Paul Brubaker, who is an economist and well acquainted with this issue from an economic point of view. He'll make opening remarks. We have Stanford Carr, who's a developer, Tony Ching, who's the executive director of the Honolulu Community Development Authority. We have Paul Kay from Kamehameha Schools, David Striff, who is with Howard Hughes, John Wallenstrom, who is with Forest City, and John White, Pacific Resource Partners, which is the unions, the trade unions that are involved in building housing. Collectively, these guys are about to build, or soon to build, billions of dollars of housing in the city and county of Honolulu anyway. You know, as housing goes, so goes the state. But housing is fraught with delays, permitting issues, bureaucracy, high prices and taxes. And home development is, housing development is not exactly what it's cracked up to be. Neither is home ownership these days. We're on the cusp of a housing transformation. How will that work out? How will we like it? Find out on May 27th. Sign up for this program, Housing in Hawaii, on hvca.org. I hope you'll be there, Attila. And Quincy, I hope you'll be there at this program.
Sure, it's always good to know where's the best place to live, and and it's good if they're building more houses. That means that there's more jobs for real estate agents and more jobs for others. So
yeah, that's true.
I support that. Well, thank you for your message, Jay. Is there anything else you'd like to tell our listeners?
I'm sorry?
Is there anything else you'd like to tell our listeners? Maybe how they can tune in?
Yeah, well, let me, thank you for reminding me. Remember that ThinkTech live streams all of its talk shows on the internet. We put streaming video on Ustream, streaming audio on Spreaker. I hope you like that, Quincy.
Yeah.
If you want to catch us live, these video and audio streams are available on our website, which is thinktechhawaii.com. Just go there and it'll take you right to the embeds. Remember, too, we have a gallery for a live audience in our studio here. You can come down and be a member of that audience, and people often do. And when a member, you can pose questions to our guests and give them a hot seat and participate in the discussion. I'm only sorry, Quincy, there's nobody here for you today. To reserve your place, write to me, Jay Fidel, at j@thinktechhawaii.com. Thanks for that, Attila. Back to you.
All right. Thank you, Jay. I appreciate that. Well, where we last left the conversation, we were talking about how businesses were using social media to try to get more customers into the door, and how some of those video game competitions can also get customers into the door by hosting venues. I mean, these are great ideas for the small business. But I've also heard horror stories where if you do a poor job and do a poor rating on Yelp, next thing you know, you're out of business. And if you do if you charge too much, or if someone's rude to you, someone posts an ad on Facebook, or if you have a poor product, a picture gets posted up. If you sell a very small cup of coffee that's unusual, then something like that might end up on Facebook. You never know. You never know these things. I've never seen anything this small.
Yeah,
so these kind of things can kill a business. And why don't you tell me some of your experiences, and maybe we can learn from them and we can try to avoid that in our own day-to-day lives.
Yeah, definitely. The thing about new media, what it does now is that it's actually allowing a lot of the end users able to kind of voice their opinions, kind of put themselves out there, and kind of become kind of the champions of their own. The company's brand. And it's a lot different from the way that it was before, where you could do like a mass market message and sell to the masses, and it was effective. Right now it's becoming a lot more personalized because of the social media technologies, and it's also becoming a little bit more in the hands of the users. And so when it comes to like in our case, we have a lot of different crisis communication, especially with like the news and information like that. When you hear things like that, we always recommend for businesses to act swiftly. Because it's technology, what you want to do is, as soon as the information is out there, if a company has its own social media platforms, to respond. When it comes to a social network like Yelp, when people are putting their information out there, Yelp actually has a business profile, which you're actually able to respond to a lot of the comments that are on there. It's not for the free business support, but it definitely is something that people can respond to.
So the trick really is to respond to those customer complaints. But isn't that what you're supposed to be doing as a business anyway?
Definitely.
And I mean, I've heard of what was that one? I think I know with cosmetics. Every once in a while it comes out, even before. Product comes out, people start complaining about it. I remember that there was that picture leaked about the iPhone 5.
Yeah.
Everyone was all upset, and now we're over it, right?
Well, definitely. I know that information leakage can go one of both ways, right? It can create kind of more buzz about, especially when you're Apple, you're able to kind of get information out there. But when it comes to things that are on the more negative side, we highly recommend that businesses kind of go out there and kind of, speak their voice, because what happens is a lot of conversations kind of go unheard and are unseen, and a lot of companies I see that don't have social media and don't have a part in social media kind of let the conversations go awry.
So really, it sounds to me like social media is a good form of damage control.
It is.
If you're a retailer. Now, what if you're a professional company, such as a law office?
Well, the way that I look at social media, a lot of times is you can use it as small spurts of PR. You can announce when new hires are coming on board. You can talk about new products or services that you're launching. You can also talk about also things that you want to apologize for. I see a lot of businesses, when, like, say there's an outage or of service, AT&T has their own hashtag, which they utilize, and people can use that hashtag.
Does Hawaiian Tel have something like this?
That's a good question.
That is an excellent question, because I wonder if maybe we could make those recommendations to some of our existing service providers.
Yeah, definitely. I know that I recall that, HECO, what they do is they would put information on their website. And so when it comes to social media, you kind of think of it as no different. When you're posting information, it's kind of like a micro website. You kind of have your microsite kind of representing your brand. But the good thing is that they have the user base that's already there.
And so it sounds to me that you have to do all this damage control as a small business, and social media is one method you can do that. But in my experience, social media can be an incredible time vacuum. Yes. And so if you're a small business and you're already working 80 hours a week, adding an additional 20 just to do social media seems like a lot to ask.
It totally is a little bit counterproductive. The great thing about social media and advanced technology is that they allow scheduling tools. And Facebook just evolved the ending of last year. They actually allow you to kind of schedule all of your posts at one time. So what a lot of businesses, what we recommend to a lot of businesses is that they plan and create a social calendar, a social media calendar, maybe take about an hour of your day to kind of plan out what you're going to be posting for the month, whether it's promotions, news updates, new hires to that extent. You schedule it all in, and then you can set it and forget it.
So set and forget is a good method, but the thing that really worries me is that we have this Facebook. Do you remember the Facebook IPO? I know it wasn't that long ago.
Oh yeah.
But,
I bought stock.
You did buy stock.
I did buy stock.
Did you buy it at 35 or at 17?
Bought it at 40, I want to say.
Whatever
the starting price was, and you know, unfortunately for me, you know, I was just like, hey, you know, it's Facebook, you know, it has to be profitable. I mean, good. Luckily, it leveled off.
Yeah, I think it's what is it, 20 something now?
Yeah,
I don't know what it is, but it, you know, and if you look at Twitter, I mean, Twitter has no ads, right?
No ads. They are looking into a business platform in which they can do sponsored tweets, in which you can kind of come up on the sidebar. But other than that, when I think when they were creating Twitter, they used it as a means of a solution, communication solution, as opposed to it being profitable.
But I mean, if you're going to invest this time
Yes.
into a company's platform, that company should at least be around to support you. I mean, like you said, people spend, well, we have 700 million people on Facebook, more than twice the number of people in the United States. And then we have you know, all these people on it, and they're spending 2 hours a day on it, but they're not making money. And their stock is at $26.68.
And it's going down.
And it's going, it went down today. So, I mean, that tells me that, you know, we're looking at a bubble or some problem coming up in the future.
Yeah.
But maybe we can explore that a little bit when we get back from the break. Thank you for tuning in. This is ThinkTech Friday. I'm your host, Attila Seress with Quincy Solano. Stay tuned. We'll be back after the break.
760 KGU.
Part of the Wall Street Business Network.
Avoid Kapiolani Boulevard ever-bound. It's extremely slow because of that lane closure at the water main break at McCully. It's slow from the freeway on-ramp down to McCully. McCully also still closed from Kapiolani to Lime. Traffic on the H1 ever-bound is horrible. The slowdown starts in Kaimuki and continues literally all the way to Aloha Stadium. It hasn't been this bad in a long time. Normal, though, to the windward side and Hawaii Kai.
Hawaii, the state of clean energy, is also brought to you by Hawaiian Electric Company, powering the growth and development of Hawaii since it was chartered by King Kalakaua in 1891. Today, Hawaiian Electric and its subsidiaries, Maui Electric and Hawaii Electric Light Company, serve more than 95% of our state, providing reliable electric service essential to our quality of life. The Hawaiian Electric companies are also leading our transition to clean energy. By increasing our renewable energy use and improving energy efficiency, we're reducing Hawaii's dependence on imported oil and in providing a more sustainable and secure future for Hawaii. For more information, visit hawaiisenergyfuture.com. Hawaii, the state of clean energy, is also brought to you by the State Energy Office of the Department of Business, Economic Development, and Tourism. How can we secure a better future for Hawaii? One way is clean energy, and the State Energy Office is steering Hawaii to that clean energy future. Hawaii is rich with natural renewable resources, the sun, the wind, the ocean, and the land, and they are all being tapped to meet Hawaii's clean energy initiatives to generate electricity, create jobs, spur economic growth, and reduce our dependence on imported foreign oil. To learn more, visit energy.hawaii.gov.
Jay? Hello? We're back. We're back. We're live, and you're listening to ThinkTech Friday. I'm your host, Attila Seress, and we're here with Quincy Solano from Technology NewsBytes. And, well, when we last left the conversation, we were talking about coffee and the world's smallest cup of coffee, and we were talking about the challenges that businesses face from they face from having some negative feedback that can come by not answering their customers' complaints and such. And so I'm going to post on our ThinkTechHawaii.com website this small cup of coffee, and I think it's also on the video for those of you listening on Ustream or watching on Ustream.tv. If you have a smaller cup, feel free to email me. I would love to see it. My email address is Attila, that's Attila, @soshawaii.com, or of course you can find me on Facebook. But anyway, so hopefully this won't damage the business too much, but I think it's very cute.
Yeah, I'm going to grab myself one right after the show.
Just because, I mean, you could give this to a 2-year-old and they would love to drink it. It's about, those of you who can't see, it's about the size of my 4 fingers. And yes, it was a $2 cup of coffee.
And you know what's amazing is that you can actually drink that in the afternoon and maybe you know, wean off of it. It's not like if you got like a grande size or even like a tall size, you kind of maybe a little bit wired into the night. But something like that might be kind of good to get you through the afternoon.
So it's like when you're trying to get away from caffeine. It's like a tone down. It's like a patch. It's like a nicotine patch for coffee. It's a small cup.
Yeah.
But, you know, I really want to talk about, we only have a few minutes left, about where we are going. Where we are going as a culture in terms of social media. Now, you know, when I first saw Twitter, I said, oh, this is hilarious. It's going to be dead in 6 months. And I was totally wrong. And when I started using Facebook, I said, oh, this is the future. And I was right. But now their stock shows otherwise. So I'm out 2 for 2. So why don't you tell me what you think we're going to be looking at in 5 years in terms of social media interaction?
So some of the larger social networks, actually the up-and-coming social networks, are Instagram and Pinterest. But what a lot of people don't know, and what a social network to kind of keep an eye out for, is LinkedIn. Okay. We just had a seminar this past Wednesday with Rick Dragon. He's the author of Social Marketology, and he recommended during the seminar that LinkedIn will be a new up-and-coming force to reckon with. It's still sustaining, you know, its revenue stream. It's professional. It positions itself as a professional social network. You're able to endorse people. People found jobs through LinkedIn. LinkedIn had purchased Slideshare.net. They just purchased one of the companies to kind of increase their presence on social media as well. And they're kind of a force to be reckoned with in the next coming years.
Well, but that's from a professional aspect, and that's great for people who are out in the job market, and maybe they're looking to switch. And you know, one of their founders, Reid Hoffman, wrote a very interesting book called The Startup of You, and that talks all about how their intellectual property protection has made them that different. You know, that's their was it 7 degrees of separation? Yes. They're able to. That's where the 1st and 2nd degree connections come from, and so I think that's cool. But you know, I see. You know, I'm sure some of you have also heard how YouTube is now starting to charge based on subscription services.
That's right.
You know, these social media giants seem to be reaching a certain point where they're starting to say, you know, now we need to make some money.
Right.
And what would you say to that? I mean, I think that's a very fair thing to say, but as a society, that's going to change the way we communicate.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you know, with even different social networks, they're all trying the best ways to monetize. You know, Facebook started charging for inboxes just to message people who weren't in your connection, and that failed miserably. I think right now, a lot of social networks are trying to find that right mix between, you know, keeping the veil between social aspects and then monetizing as well. You know, having those ads is kind of one of those things, but it's actually not sustaining it to where it can actually be. What businesses are doing, smaller businesses, is they're trying to leverage the tool to kind of get the message out there. But the hard thing is that the social companies themselves, the social network companies, are struggling to kind of stay on top. And you know, LinkedIn right now is probably the most sustaining at the moment because their model is so different. With Facebook, they're trying to get every single penny with, you know, doing the gaming. They charge for gaming. You know, people who do the Farmville and everything like that. You know, they tried the messaging, which didn't work out too well. So I know that right now a lot of social networks are trying really hard to find that holy grail, so to say. The
holy grail, the thing that everyone will pay for.
Yeah, exactly. While using the social networks without feeling, I guess, violated. Like,
and as a society, I mean, social media has changed the way. I mean, like for instance, I remember when Egypt had their their trouble.
Yes.
Let's call that. About a year and a half ago, they were able to leverage their revolutionary groups using Twitter.
Right.
And they essentially use that. So Twitter was a vehicle that allowed them to create actual change in the real world. I mean, what's happened since then? How is social media really changing things?
Well, I know that with social networking, what it does is it actually brings people a lot closer together without having to spend a whole bunch of time. We're all busy in this day and age. You know, we're all trying to, you know, get through the day. You know, we're working 9 to 5 jobs, maybe 2 jobs all at once. And social media actually is that kind of connection that's allowing us to stay connected. What's happening now in the digital age, and what to look forward to, is people are getting, I guess, essentially more lazier. So what the messages are getting smaller.
No, you don't want to say that to the entrepreneurial community. We're definitely working hard.
Yeah, definitely working hard. But everything now is getting a little bit more visual. Everything for Instagram and Pinterest, they're visual communication tools. And so what's happening right now is that things like infographics. You see a lot of infographics explaining about businesses.
Infographics. What are those?
So infograph is a compilation of images. It's a long image that kind of spans the length of a website, and it kind of just gives a brief synopsis about a topic or subject. And everything right now is getting to the point where it's all being summarized. So you're able to summarize information in bits and chunks, and you're able to visually see kind of what's going on in a glance. And so things like Instagram are becoming popular because, you know, because of the synapses and people just looking at visual aspects to social media. That's why Pinterest and Instagram are kind of the new up-and-coming social networks out there, because...
Yeah, and Pinterest is great.
Yeah.
I mean, I get questions all the time. They say, I've heard of this Pinterest thing. Like, what is it?
Yeah.
Well, it's just people sharing pictures that they like.
Yeah, and definitely predominantly for Pinterest, 90% is female user base. And so, of course, you know, the spending habits of on Pinterest is a lot geared toward like design, clothing as well, and you have that visual aspect on things that you can
I wonder, what is the demographic? Is it more males or more women or more men that shop online, would you say?
You know, it's kind of a toss-up. I shop online, and you know, I was an early adapter. You know, people were always worrying about, you know, putting their credit cards online. I went straight into it, dive straight in. So it's hard for me to say if you know, the male or the female is more inclined to purchase.
Maybe it's just age group.
It could be, yes. And I think, you know, the earlier generation is definitely on it when it comes to purchasing stuff, you know, purchasing tickets online, purchasing apparel online, and not having to feel it or wear it to actually think that it's going to be of value or anything of that
sort.
sort.
The tablets really changed that too.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're a 40 plus, it's guaranteed that you have a tablet in your home if you're a high tech person.
Yeah,
and that solves that generation gap. Now they can go online and shop.
And interestingly enough that you say that, CNET actually put out a report that was saying that the mobile market actually has surpassed the PC market.
Oh, by far, 70% of all internet traffic is mobile.
Yeah, exactly.
That's for sure. And so, you know, Wi-Fi is going to become more important.
Yeah.
In fact, if you go and you talk to some of these hotel owners in Waikiki, they're going to tell you that, yeah, you know, people want to see cable TV, but what they really want is Wi-Fi in their rooms. That's really what they want.
Right, and you know what, even like you're talking about TV, I don't even watch regular television. I watch Hulu and Netflix. That's my new scheduling for television.
Don't tell that to Oceanic.
But I still watch Oceanic.
Well, there you go. You can at least watch OC16. So
definitely, yeah.
And all
of course, yeah.
So, yeah, well, it seems to me then, you know, things are really going to change, and, you know, I wonder, you know, where the money is going to come from.
Right.
You know, how is it that we're going to use this new stuff to make some money? And, you know, why don't you tell me, you know, because we're just about out of time, why don't you tell me in 60 seconds where the money's going to come from?
You know, where majority of online revenue comes from, of course, merch plays a singular part, and of course, digital information, you know, people purchasing digital information, but advertising will be king. Advertising will definitely be number one when it comes to revenue sources. Facebook is doing it, LinkedIn is doing it. They're doing everything they can to maximize their sponsors in order to get
So outside sponsors are going to be it.
Yes.
Well, that's going to be perfect. Well, we're almost out of time, but thank you so much, Quincy, for coming down. You know, I wanted to say it's been a real privilege to have you on, and, you know, go check out Technology NewsBytes on the internet.
And I got to give you that video.
Yes,
I'll send you that video.
We're going to post some pictures on ThinkTechHawaii.com. And, of course, if you miss any part of this program, be sure to visit our website, download the podcast, check out the picture of my tiny coffee. It'll be on there. And, you know, if you like our program, of course, like us on Facebook. And this is Attila Seress. I'm the host for ThinkTech Friday. Thanks to our chief engineer, Jack Waters, our account manager, Patrick Leonard. Our board operator is Leah Rodriguez. And, of course, Jay Fidel. His passion makes ThinkTech possible. And, of course, you, the listener, and you, the viewer online, thank you for tuning in. We'll be back next Friday, but be sure to tune in Wednesday with Jay Fidel for more ThinkTech. Remember to appreciate life, do good to others, and have a great weekend. Aloha.